Hello everybody, this is Jandor, bringing you a new replay commentary of a Dota 2 game. This is a game of Dota 2 I played recently where I was Broodmother. Broodmother is a pretty fun hero, all things considered. She is really good at pushing bases and dominating, and not dominating a lane, but she has some laning presence, but is mostly designed for pushing. And you can do some pretty crazy stuff with her. I apologize in advance. My nose is a little bit stuffed up this week, but I wanted to get this video made before other stuff happened so that I have something for you guys, something quality for you guys coming up. So this was an all-pick game that I played with a buddy of mine. My friend is on the Ursa, kind of hanging up out, and he decided to go top. We ended up doing a dual lane. I was originally going to... Broodmother can be played off-lane solo fairly effectively. She has a good escape mechanism and a lot of regen that's possible to get. And she's also... It's pretty important for her to get levels because you want to be leveling up her key skills. You really do. It makes a big difference, even more than items. So she can kind of safely sit within XP range, hidden, and kind of farm up when she can. But it's more important to get the experience, hence her being a good off-lane hero. However, I had a Windrunner support. We had a Ursa and a Lion go top, and our OD went mid. On the other side, there was a Tinker, a Nature's Prophet, an Abaddon or Abaddon, an Axe, and a Dusa. Dusa went top. The Axe and the Abaddon ended up coming into my lane on the bottom here, and the Nature's Prophet jungled while they sent their Tinker mid. So let's talk skills, and we'll talk items first and then skills. So I started with the following items: a Ring of Protection, Tango, and a Stout Shield. The reason I wanted to go for the Ring of Protection was because it would let me build into something like a Ring of Basilius down the line, which is good because one of the items you want to get on Broodmother is a Vladimir's Offering. It's pretty effective, and so I decided to go Ring of Protection first because you can't buy the Ring of Protection in the side shop. I also went with a Stout Shield because I figured I'm a melee hero. I'll probably be getting into melee range. If I'm last hitting or if I'm getting harassed, it might be nice to have access to that block, especially early game. And then the Tangos are obviously for regen. Now, whether or not the Stout Shield was the best way to go, hard to say. I know it protected me from some damage, but it might have been better to get a little closer to a soul rank or something along those lines first. Skills. So, as you can see, Broodmother has a pretty interesting list of skills. You can see these webs on the ground. She has an ability called Spin Web. All right, Spin Web is sort of her bread and butter. Or it's the bread, and then the butter is spawn spiderlings. What Spin Web does, as you can see, is it drops webbing across the map. When she is on the web, she moves faster, she regens faster, and she can go invisible. As you can see, you basically have bonus health regen, bonus movement speed, and you end up going invisible after there's a 1 second fade time, I think. The other thing that it doesn't really say it does, but it's really important, is while you're on your webs, you could also cross over impassable terrain. So you can move through trees, you can move into across chasms, you can do a lot of really cool stuff that gives you a lot of mobility and makes it pretty hard to... And here we go, we're going on the Abaddon. These guys are playing fairly aggressive, but not super aggressive. I'm playing a bit far forward. Here's a Nature's Prophet coming in, trying to kill our weakened Windrunner. I forget what happens here. Windrunner's having a bad time. I'm just right-clicking the... So what happens... Alright, Nature's Prophet comes in from the jungle.
Coming apart.
These guys aren't going real hard on us. They almost certainly could have gotten a kill, potentially could have gotten a kill on the Windrunner if they committed, but it might have left them out of position, so they decided to back off. Windrunner's going to go back to heal. And they've bought a sentry. One of the things you got to be careful about as Broodmother is if somebody buys a sentry ward, all that invisibility is for naught. It doesn't do much for you, which is why what's important is not the invisibility, but the fact that you can cross over terrain. That lets you escape situations you otherwise wouldn't be able to escape, and one of the reasons I'm positioning them in a lane like this is not only for the invisibility, but because it'll allow me to walk through the trees to get into the secret shop or the side shop, things like that. Depending on where you are, there's a lot of good positions to put your webs. I like these positions in the bottom lane. It's also useful to start spinning them out into the jungle over here so you can walk through the trees and get into the jungle to harass, especially if you have lane wards or jungle wards over here. In any event, as you level up Spin Web, you get the ability to put more webs down. It starts off with 2 webs max. I apologize. 2 webs max, and then it goes to 4, 6, and 8. So at rank 4, you have 8 webs you can have down.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Our lion gets the first blood. Very good. As you can see, like they even can see me, but they're not going super hard towards me. They're just kind of trying to last hit. They've also got 2 melee heroes down here, which is always tough if they're both trying to farm. They're not doing a huge job of harassing me, but now I can tell that they have some vision, so I'm like, all right, I gotta be a little more careful. Spin web, the nice thing, like I said, as you get more webs, that gives you the ability to get more of the map webbed up, which gives you more mobility and more push potential. A big part of her push potential comes from spawn spiderlings. So this is her Q ability, her first. It's fairly mana. It's not super mana heavy, only over 120 mana, but that's not super mana cheap either when you have a mana pool of 312. You're really only going to get like 1 or 2 of these off, and then you're going to need some regen. Spawn spiderlings injects. You inject your young into an enemy unit. Pretty gross. It deals damage. So it's a minor nuke, and then if you kill the unit either with that damage or while they are infected, and it's only it's 10-second duration. No, it's 10-second cooldown. 10-second cooldown. I think it's like a 1 or 2 second duration that they're infected. If you kill them while they're infected, as you can see on this creep right here, so he was infected. Unfortunately, we weren't able to kill him in time. If you kill them while they're infected, you get spiderlings. It starts at 1 and then spawns up to 4. And the spiderlings are basically like they're kind of like enigmas, guys. They're the little units that you can control that deal damage and otherwise make you really sick at pushing towers, especially when you have things like the Vladimir's Offering, and they all have, bonus armor, bonus regen, lifesteal, etc. So, spawn spiderlings and spin web. What that basically lets you do is it lets you push towers really effectively if you're not getting harassed. You can spawn up a bunch of spiderlings. You can end up getting a lot of them. And they last I think they last indefinitely until they're killed. Or at the very least, they last for. I don't think they last indefinitely. They last for a long time. So you can have huge swarms of them all bashing on towers or enemy heroes or anything like that at a time. Which is one of the reasons that makes it really dangerous. As you'll see in this game, what I basically ended up doing was going for a push strategy, and I just sort of hung out in this lane for the most part and just sieged their towers. And there wasn't much they could do about it, as it turns out. So. Items. I have my Ring of Basilius, which gives me aura, damage, and mana regen. All good. I also got a Soul Ring. Soul Ring first is really nice on her because you get mana regen, and you get HP regen, and you get your active ability, which lets you spawn spiderlings more often. And since you regen faster on your webs, and you regen faster with the Soul Ring, it's a really efficient item. You're going to have more spiderlings out, it's going to let you push faster, and I definitely am not the most adept at doing that. It's one of the things I got to work on with Brood. But it's a really slick item to have as long as you're careful about toggling it and you don't use it when you're super low or otherwise get yourself into a bad position by making yourself really weak so that they have a ward or something that can just come in and gank you. Once again, I spawned spiderlings. I think that was a misclick on the wrong target, so I don't get any spiderlings out of that. It's why you really want to wait to spawn spiderlings on units that are really low. You cannot target your own. You cannot target your own creeps with it. And there we go. So I grabbed the spawn spiderling. I believe I just did that, yes. So I kill the creep, I get a spider that's running around with me right now, as you guys can see. And if you want, we can take a look at free camera. Woo! So here's my spiderling. Do I have my spiderling in here? Where are you? There they are. Pardon me. Yeah. Huh. There it is, spiderling. Alright, so a spiderite has really low damage, pretty decent move speed, no armor, and it lasts for about a minute. They get more powerful, I believe, as you level up spawn spiderlings, and they can become pretty dangerous, and you can also get a critical mass of them, which is pretty sexy. Let's go back to player perspective, and we will take a look at...
Have fun trying to bust down Radiant structures now. Radiant's top tower
My
is in
Wind
bad
Ranger's been doing a
shape.
really good job of harassing them back too and helping me out in the lane, so I've been able to not necessarily farm, but keep getting
Radiant's
experience
top
and keep
tower's hurting.
the wave pushed by their tower, which has been nice. Not always the best. You don't always want the wave to be by their tower because it gives them a little more safety, but again, I was going to try and push things down. That was sort of my goal. So having us be so close is always not necessarily a bad thing. She's also been really good with these shackle shots. Been pretty legit. Other skills. All right, your passive is Incapacitating Bite. It's a unique attack and modifier, which is one of the other reasons Vladimir's offering is so good, is because Vladimir's offering is an aura, so you don't have to worry about it not stacking with your UAM. What it does is whenever you damage a unit, they get a mischance and a slow, which means it's easier for you to hunt them down or your allies hunt them down and kill them, and it makes it harder for them to hit and harass you. Generally, the way I skill this...
mid tower could use a little help.
I think I had forgotten exactly what Incapacitating Bite did. It might have been better to leave that till later and just max out Spiderlings and spin web sooner. Nice, a very nice power shot there from the Wind Ranger. And so I think your better bet is probably to go like max spin web, potentially, and then max Spiderlings, and you're going to want to grab your ulti, and you might even potentially wait for your ulti until you've maxed web and Spiderlings. But your ulti is really good. So her ulti is called Insatiable Hunger. It gives her bonus damage when she has it up, and a really insane lifesteal, and it lasts a goodly long time. Like 14 seconds is pretty nice. So she can use that to heal herself back up on creep waves or on enemy heroes, as you can see, which has allowed me to survive some of those nukes. I am now running towards the trees, taking damage from this, and you can see I'm walking through the trees there because of the way I have my webs positioned. I want to try and potentially come back in. Maybe I can get a kill on that guy, but I didn't think I realized how low he was, and then he was already too far back. So I come in here playing it safe. I've got a lot of money. I'm going to go for the Vladimir's offering. I get the Mask of Madness. Go ahead and heat that up. We've got a rotation deck coming down from our OD, and so far we've been playing pretty well. Top lane's doing all right. Our line's been getting some kills. We've been getting kills in general. Another kill on the Medusa. We've been keeping the Medusa down. Our OD's been doing all right. This was his first OD game too, and he was doing good. And there you go. He bashed on the Tinker. We have the Apodic Shield. I managed to kill the Abaddon. No, it doesn't matter because he didn't have, I guess his ult had already triggered. He didn't have enough mana for it, so he just died. And now we go on the Axe. Now, if the OD had potentially been hitting the Axe instead of those creeps, we might have been able to get a kill, but likely not. He was able to kind of run back, and we were under tower. Wind Ranger dies at a Prophet, and then we run around, and Prophet ends up getting stuck by his own stuff.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
That's a dead Prophet. So he had a real bad
Tower's
time.
having technical difficulties.
Now they're pushing on our mid tower, but we're pushing on their top tower.
Radiant's top tower.
A lot of action back and forth. Let me get rid of that. I'm sorry.
Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
And let's take a look. Right now, we are currently pretty far ahead, or not really far ahead, but we're far ahead in experience, and we're only getting more so. And in gold, we are also pulling away from them. Nothing insurmountable so far, but enough that it's one core item probably on a hero in difference compared to what they have. As you can see, so the Axe right now, what's the Axe got? Axe is still sitting on, nothing. He's got his power treads, shield, and ring of protection. Not a lot. They're going to go on the OD. Our OD is probably not going to last long here. He's working towards a Force Staff, which is a good thing to get. He's got...
Radiant lost one of them bottom towers.
But while they were all busy killing the OD, I pushed the tower down. Our Lion is doing well, going towards Mech first. Our Wind Ranger's got her Phase Boots and Ring of Basilius. We kind of did double Ring of Basilius. Not necessarily the best thing, but it's not too bad. And I'm sitting here on my Vlads, basically. I've actually been doing pretty well in terms of money. I got money from the tower. I now don't have any spin webs. This is dangerous running out into the open like this, but I wanted to get back to my webs up top here. As you can see, my Spiderites are going to die. We decided to go in on this Nature's Prophet. We kill the Nature's Prophet, or Wind Ranger does. Here comes the Abaddon trying to get some kills. Does the Abaddon even have boots yet? Abaddon has nothing. No wonder we had such an easy lane down here. This guy's got... Man, he's got like nothing. Wow. Poor guy. Having a real shit time. So, easy kills. He doesn't have boots. He's not going to be able to get away. We've got extra move speed. I forget if we actually kill him. Oh, yes, we do. I managed to get the kill there. It gives me more money, more food. Here's the X. She has hilarious things to say, by the way. And I should probably be using my soul ring a lot more aggressively than I am. Like I definitely should have done it there and got spiderites out with the one creep that was low. Something to remember is, you know, the more you're sort of getting those spiderites out, they last for a while and they'll spawn other spiderites. They'll do good stuff. So having the more you're doing it, the more often you're triggering that spawn spiderlings ability, the more spiders you have, and the faster you can siege down towers, control the wave, and otherwise kick all kinds of ass. I end up just directly buying boots. Now, I did not go boots first on the Broodmother, and the reason for that is that you get this massive bonus speed on the web.
Top towers.
So I'm not super fast, but even now, even without boots, I'm still moving at almost 400 movement speed. And then when the boots come in, it's only going to be better. So I figured, you know, let's get other items that are more efficient first, since I'm going to be running around on the webs the whole time during the laning phase, and I don't necessarily need the boots. But if I get things like a faster Vlad's or the Soul Ring up earlier, then it's going to help me do practically anything. He may or may not have canceled his TP. I'm pretty sure he canceled his TP, guys. He was having a bad day. Unfortunately, we were not able to kill that guy fast enough to get my spiderites out. Again, reasons to try to wait a little bit and delay. Make sure that you're going to get that kill. But now we've got my webs down here, so in they come. Now, they're going to send a bunch of guys down here, so we really should back off. Because they're sending their whole team down here to deal with this, because we're already sieging their T2, and there's not a whole heck of a lot they're going to be able to do about it if they don't defend.
Top towers in bad shape.
Meanwhile, that's giving our Ursa and our Lion up top a chance to push down that tower. As you can see, I'm in a scary position. I'm off my webs, which I don't like being, but they don't have a ton of detection. Really important, too, as a Broodmother, something you can do if you're on a higher level game is take advantage of buy your own sentry wards. If the team doesn't need them elsewhere, if you buy your own sentry wards, you can de-ward the lanes, and that will help you lane more efficiently because you can take out their detection.
Technical difficulties.
If you have a support with you, having the support get sentries for the lane is also really important. Or not important, but certainly really helpful, because again, it'll let you take out things like that. So that you can more effectively harass and escape and just kind of be a real nuisance. So like right here, they can see me, which I now know. I trigger my ulti. I'm going to go ahead and deal some damage to these guys, but I'm taking a bunch of damage, so I'm like, I got to run. Let's get out of the range of the vision of that ward. She's got a super freaky, like, glowing backside. They dropped another sentry ward. I'm still taking damage. I kind of hang out in the trees. This is a really nice thing about these trees. As you can see, if you're hiding in a place like that, they might not necessarily be able to get to you, and that gives you a chance to escape what otherwise might have been a really bad situation. More harassment coming down. They don't have a ton of vision, though, and their ward's kind of back up there. So I'm still able to, but then I'm within range. So this is really bad. I'm pretty sure I die here. There's not going to be a whole lot. Actually, I did. So what ended up happening, and this was really frustrating, is I took the webs back here, but I did not have web extended enough over here to keep walking. So I just sort of got trapped, and they just killed me. All right, that's a frustrating setback, but it is not what I would refer to as devastating, especially since I'm doing really well. I'm pretty far ahead, as you guys can see. I am currently at 2-1-4, so 4 assists, 2 kills, 1 death. That's pretty nice.
Difficulties. No breaking through the Dire's structures.
Where are we on last hits and dies? I also am almost tied for last hits, which is pretty good considering I was in, the bottom, the short lane here. All right. Our Lion is absolutely wrecking house. I mean, you should see this guy, man, he's 7-1-1. So our Lion really creating a lot of space, really doing a lot of damage, and really keeping the Medusa down, which is good because she gets super scary. Now, our Ursa also bought a Vladimir's Offering because it's one of the core items on Ursa. You generally don't want more than one per team, but it is not the end of the world, especially if you're going to be split pushing. Because the Ursa really wants the Vlads for, again, his own unique attack modifier reasons. I think overpower. Or whatever his Fury Swipes, I think, is a unique attack modifier. Let me double check. Ursa Fury Swipes is a unique attack modifier. That's why he wants the Vlads as well. It gives him lifesteal, lets him roche, it lets him do a lot of really cool stuff. So not the worst thing in the world. Potentially you don't draft 2 people that are going to get, if you were drafting a game, you might not go Broodmother and Ursa. You might only need the one Vlads. But again, if you're going to be pushing towers sort of solo, you don't, it's not necessarily a bad idea for you to have your own Vlads and to have somebody else have a Vlads for the team fights and, for their own laning stage. I forgot to micromanage my spiders, which is a real problem because if they had come down here, they could block, they can kill the lane. I totally forgot that they were there. One of the things to make sure you're doing with Broodmother is keeping an eye on your spiderites. As you can see, you can have a lot of them. And I was like, oh, I forgot I had all these spiderites. I should probably bring them back into the lane with me now. So here they come. I've got my TP scroll. I've got my power treads. She is, I believe, a strength hero, I think. Whether she is or not, I left it on power treads on strength. I'm really bad about tread switching. It's one of the aspects of the game I need to get better at. It can really make a difference, give you a little bit of extra mana when you need it, give you a little extra armor or attack speed when you need it, give you some extra health when you need it.
Right now.
I sort of generally leave it on strength, especially for strength-based heroes, because it sort of just boosts your primary attribute and gives you
better days.
more hit points. And as you can see, boom, spiderites, pressing those towers down pretty fast. Let's see if I can click on, let's go to free camera. I want to see. So my spiderites are now level 3. They now have 18 base damage plus 2 from the aura. They have poison sting, so they get a poison sting, and they will spawn spiderites. So they will actually spawn more of themselves as you level them up, which is real scary. I am now hitting okay, but as you can see, we are 19 minutes into this game. We are already sieging their base. We're on their tier 3. And they have their guys running around trying to fight up here in the lane, so Axe is down here. Now, Axe is pretty scary as a Broodmother, right? Because he's got the spins. If the RNG is not in your favor, man, he's going to take all those spiderites out basically by himself. But he didn't really want to jump in on this. Now, as you're going to see, yeah, he got a ton of gold because I brought all the spiderites in. He spin, they all die. So you generally don't want to do that, but he decided to come back, so we just killed him. Spawn a bunch of stuff off of him, and now he's dead. So let's take a look at our player perspective. We're weakened a little bit, but I mean, I think we're gonna. If we don't totally rax them, they're finally starting to send people home, and people are coming away from being dead. But they have 3 dead, 1 alive. They don't have any vision, and they don't have any lane vision in the wards. Oh, there they did. Yes. So they dropped a sentry, which is smart because that gave them vision, so they were able to kind of direct me down. But then this Tinker came too far forward, and we just come in, and Wind Ranger gets the kill. And now we keep sieging their base because they only have, well, now they have their Axe back alive. It doesn't look like he bought back, but we're going to go ahead and take this Rax. The Tinker doesn't know how to tinker because Tinker does not suck. He's real good. Pardon me. And so we've raxed them.
Didn't make it.
At this point, you have an interesting sort of challenge because you've already strung your webs. As you can see, I've strung my webs like all the way along here, right? Kind of in this.
Wasn't nice.
Uh-oh. Wind Ranger gets killed by the Abaddon, but there's still a million of me, so I'm just going after the Abaddon. Does the Abaddon have... He has boots. Alright, he's going to survive. Barely. If I'd had another spin web, I might have been able to drop it up there. So, anyway, at this point in the game, one of the things you got to think about is, alright, you have all your webs strung along this lane, but we're pushing in on their top, no problem. Their middle is still wide open. They've actually managed to get our T1 mid. And our just our T1 mid. They're not having a good game. You want to start spinning your webs in the next lane you want to push. So it's, do you join your team? Do you go mid and start pushing and spinning webs around mid lane and try to deal with mid lane? Our Lion's still getting kills. I suddenly realized, I'm like, I have almost 5,000 gold. Like, I don't know how, but I have almost 5,000 gold. So I was like, what do I build?
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
You can build an Orchid. It's one of the recommended items. But I wasn't really going for kills. I was like, I'm just going to be pushing. So I went for an Assault Cuirass. It makes me tanky. It debuffs armor of things around me, including towers. Lets me siege and push more effectively. Really effective item. And I was so close to getting it that I basically just sort of waited till I had the money and went and bought it almost immediately. Like, I'm going to get the Hyperstone, and then I basically have enough right away to just get it. So I send the courier to me. We've taken their T2 top, and so now we really should start working on their mid, unless we want to siege it on the base. I believe we started sieging it on the base because most of us were there. My spin webs are coming up again. I really should be... I forget if I should be using the Soul Ring more often. Like right now, trigger the Soul Ring, get the spin web down. Medusa dropped her ult, but she is just
Radiant's top tower.
She's got nothing. Man, she's got nothing. She is not having a good time. And now I've got a bunch of spiderlings, and we're just going to come in and take out this tower. I'm careful, since we have a lion, to not kill the ranged creeps early, so he can go ahead and grab mana off of them. And now I've got my Assault Cuirass.
Ain't gonna last long.
As you can see, it gives you attack speed, armor, aura attack speed, armor, and armor reduction. All really good, which is why, I mean, look how fast these barracks are going down. It's crazy fast now. So,
mid tower's having technical difficulties.
We've successfully pushed in both of their racks. Just the slow, steady siege of a bunch of spiderites just murdering their way along.
Tower could use a little help.
We're going to take some moonwells, get some gold for the team, all good stuff. And I was like, well, let's go for their racks. Forgetting, of course, that we have taken none of their other towers on the mid lane, so we can't actually damage this thing yet. It is, in fact, invulnerable to us right now. So I'm like, well, that's not good.
Nothing now.
So we time to back off. You know, they're bringing people out. Time to just run away. Now, potentially what we could have done, instead of backing off, is just kind of grab some webs down and push in on their T5s or T4s, the ones right in front of the ancient.
In a row.
Jesus, the lion is just having his way with this game. But I decided to come in, push the mid lane in, make sure we can siege their racks, take them out systematically. That's what I'm good at. The rest of the team can be doing kind of whatever they want. I'm still going to be able to do really well. Here comes the Tinker coming in to give me some lasers. I'm like, well, I better back off, man. This Tinker is actually can deal a lot of damage pretty quick. So I back off. I probably could have killed the Tinker, to be honest. Depends. If he had March the Machines going, maybe not, because it would deal a lot of damage to my Spiderites. Yes, we get the spawn on that. That was a little bit close. He's still harassing me with missiles. But here, and I don't really have any invisibility. There's the web. I'm checking the rune. I think I just checked the rune. We don't have anything up. There's an invisibility bottom. Nature's Prophet finally gets a Shadow Blade 25 minutes in. Not sure how much that's going to do him, frankly, but there you go. He's got it. And now spawn spiderlings, you know, and we push the Tinker back. And their mid tower is not going to last super long. The Ursa's just going to go ahead and do his bear. I'm a bear. I'm a bear. I'm going to murder you. And all of a sudden, the Dusa ports in. I don't know why. That poor Dusa just... I've made those. I've done those before. I've had those TPs where all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm going to defend. Oh, no, I just died instantly. And that's what happened. She got blown the fuck up, friends.
Radiant's toughened up their structure.
Unfortunately, it looks like the shield took away a lot of that. The Ursa dies, but gets a kill, and then I managed to finish off the Tinker, I believe. Yes, and then we take the tower. I'm gonna have my spin web up soon. It's pretty cheap too, only 50 mana, which is nice. Again, I probably should Soul Ring. I think I did. I Soul Ring and go ahead and I think I was misclicking a little bit there. Yep, and get the spawn spiderlings, sieging the tower. Here comes the axe. He is my nemesis, but it doesn't matter. The Outworld Devourer got a Dagon.
Radiant's mid tower could use a
Dagon OD. It's totally legit, friends. Tell your friends.
Radiant's mid tower ain't doing so good.
I mean, that's it. I mean, you can see, like, the game is basically over.
Radiant's is out of the picture.
Huge damage on that Finger of Death. And now their Ancient is under siege by a bunch of spiderlings. Look how fast this thing is dropping. Dropping pretty fast. Not incredibly fast, but pretty damn fast. So that's Broodmother.
The dire one this time.
If I had to pick another item, if it had mattered, there's a couple things you could potentially go. You could have potentially got an Orchid, could have gotten a Radiance or something, who knows. I mean, I really wouldn't necessarily build a Radiance on her, but at a certain point, it's like there's a couple of different ways you can build her. Other things that give you auras can be useful. A mech could potentially be useful if we didn't already have one on the team. You don't really get much out of Aghanims on Broodmother, so I wouldn't necessarily try that. But there you go. That is Broodmother. She is a pretty fun hero. You can do well in the laning stage if you're careful and you keep in mind that they're probably going to be buying sentries to put down to harass you. So you want to make sure that your webs are in positions where you can get into the trees or other impassable terrain as an escape because you can't rely on the invisibility. You want to go ahead and get those spiderlings and webs up pretty quick. Whether or not you go spiderlings maxed first or webs maxed first, or drop a point in your passive, there's a couple ways you can build it. I would generally probably say webs and spiderlings should be maxed first. And there's other resources online you can check to see kind of what the general idea is and just sort of play around with it, see what you like. But I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I will see everyone next time.